This episode of Commish Chat is brought to you by Napper, the official ball and equipment sponsor of the National Ball Hockey League. Whether you're ripping clappers from the blue line or dangling through defenders, Napper has the sticks, gloves, and protective gear to take your game to the next level. Designed for ball hockey players by ball hockey players, Napper delivers unmatched durability, performance, and style on the court. Don't settle for less. Gear up with Napper and own the game. Visit napper.com to check out their latest lineups. Now, back to the show.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the NBHL Commish Chat Podcast. I'm Anthony Sanrocco, NBHL Commissioner, joined by TJ Janus and Gianni Sanrocco as we take you through the league and the start of the 2025 season.
It's finally here.
We did it, boys. We made it through the offseason.
Yeah, the fifth year has begun.
Yes, yeah, somehow, some way. The offseason is a lot more chaotic than I think people realize is. Like, because we're sitting there and people have said, do a second season, continue this, make this longer. And it's like every month is like strategically planned on the stuff that we have to do. It's just a lot.
We need that offseason.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, we need it like mentally. Like we need the break.
Oh, yeah. I'm cooked after the season ends.
Oh, yeah.
I'm kind of cooked when the season starts too, but
Yeah.
a little less so.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of obviously front end work that we're all doing before the season even kicks off. And then we just get thrown right into her. So it's, it's good.
But we're here and excited. We just started. We've had a few divisions take off already. We're going to get into those in a little bit. Before we get into the games, I want to talk about our most controversial March Madness we've ever had.
Is it the most? We've had some pretty controversial March Madnesses in the past.
I mean, the past 2 years we've had, I don't know. It's been a little interesting the way it's kind of gone down. Because last year, the New York Pigeons won, who they exited the tournament pretty early this year.
Yeah, average logo.
We don't know what happened last year, but they somehow won. I don't know. Long Island really banded together for that. I don't know what happened, but they won. This year, our winner is the
Cudas.
Yes.
McKeesport Cudas.
McKeesport Cudas. And logo was sick. We're like, this is great. They're winning some games. They got beer in the logo. It's pretty much a cheat code for the tournament.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be, we didn't allow the pun because we don't let pun names go through, but it's supposed to be the beer Akudas.
Oh,
well.
And we don't let the pun
that.
go through, so
Right.
they had to shorten it to just the Kudas.
So we caught the pun. We didn't catch the logo. So the San Jose Barracudas, the San Jose Sharks AHL team, pretty similar logo.
Yeah, it's like the same exact
the
shark.
same, some would say.
Or Barracuda.
So the win was met with controversy. I mean, it's a hell of a logo.
Hell of a logo, but
We can't rescind the W. They
Well,
won
you-
fair and square.
I did have some dogs asking if they were the logo bracket champions. I said, no, you got to win it.
Yeah. So, we have like checks and balances that we do to like, we search logos and double check that they're not stolen or taken. Cause like, that's our rule. Like you can't have a logo taken from the internet or another team or another thing. And
it just
we
slipped
missed
by.
one. We
Yeah.
just missed one. And we learned our lesson here.
We might need like a West Coaster on the team to like cover the, that side of the country logos. Cause like I have no idea what the AHL team logos
Yeah.
are in the San Jose.
But I mean, congrats to the Cudas because the logo is awesome. They've got the Sharks color scheme too for their jersey. So they really like bought into it. So
And you may end up seeing the interview that Declan did with one of the players about the logo, but they basically said they just got a bunch of high school kids to vote for the logo. So that was their strategy. So interesting, but
yeah, they what's it called? Brian, who runs their team, emailed me and he was just, they started as like a low-level team and they kind of just started getting better and it started getting more serious and they changed it to the Barracudas just to be funny and they submitted the logo and they're like, oh my God, like how did this happen? So they seem like a really good group of guys. They're like, yeah, we understand the logo situation. And I mean, honestly, congrats to them. Like they want 200 plus logos.
yeah, I mean, that's hard to win. And especially this year was the year of the AI logo.
Yeah.
A lot of AI logos this year.
AI, and some of them went on some runs. Like
Yes.
it was, people love AI,
Yep.
which is, questionable. But yeah, March Madness, that's our fifth champion. So we had the first year was the Cougs. Second year.
That was a controversial win too.
Why was
Do
that?
you remember that? Because we only count the Instagram votes.
Oh, that's right.
And the the Atlantis one on Facebook, but not on Instagram. But like before the thing, we're like, hey, we're only doing the Instagram votes because we're not tallying up from both sides.
Feels
and they
biased.
were like, it should be both. And we're like, that's too bad. It's just unfortunate it happened to be our logo that won.
Yeah, that's a terrible look the first year of this league.
I think we ended up, we were giving out a prize that year for the logo bracket. I think we ended up just giving it to them instead because I'm not going to give myself a free t-shirt.
Yeah. And then who won the second year? The Sauce, maybe?
Second year was, no, the Sauce haven't won.
Really?
It was the second year was, I believe, the Meatballs.
Bloomfield Meatballs.
And then the third year was the Burger Boys.
Okay.
And then we went to the Pigeons. The Sauce always go on a run.
Yeah.
They just, can't get over the hump. But yeah, March Madness, it was fun. We lined it up the best we ever have with actual March Madness, which was kind of cool. Like, I don't know, just the same time having both. People are watching, the March Madness games. We're just watching our Instagram story, taking that pretty seriously. But yeah, so getting into the season here, we had our NBHL debut in Canada. We've had teams in Canada that have come over the coast and played in Buffalo. They've played in, we've had players go to California. We've had players play in our Detroit division in the past. We've had players from Canada, but we've never had games played north of the border. So BC, Victoria, Vancouver Island, and Aiden Kulas, the director there, that guy is just a tank. Like he's so organized, does such an amazing job. They've got some videos on their social media, just like the way he set everything up for them. They've got a great arena. It's got like locker rooms and really nice setup. And he just did it right. He did a really, really good job. And the teams obviously are extremely balanced too, because they have the Victoria Legends, Victoria Poison, and the West Coast Giants. All three teams went 1-1.
And there's some pretty big deficits in those games too. I think after the first two games, we saw like a 5-goal deficit and thought, oh no, like is one team going to be really undermatched here? But
yeah, we were
canceling out.
We were at the wedding last weekend, I guess it was, and we were like following the scores live. I was like, holy crap, like, these games are close. And, we were just excited to see that.
Yeah. I mean, just getting up the games up there was great. And I think it kind of helped us on like the management side of kind of getting things prepped for our first weekend. Cause I know I'm going to butcher this name, Aris Aganastopoulos.
Yep. Aganastopoulos. Yep.
7-point weekend. Had to redo our stat graphic a little bit to fit his name in there because that was it's quite the mouthful. I think that's one of the longer names in league history.
Has to be.
Congrats, Aris. That's setting a record your opening weekend. It's a pretty big deal.
Put out a graphic for that, longest name in NBHL history.
That would be just have it like
top
go
5
off
longest
the
names.
graphic. Do 2 graphics for it. That would be pretty funny. Someone else had that idea in our content call. So whoever that was, I'm sorry. We don't mean to take your joke here, but I don't think you were on that call, so you didn't hear the joke.
And if
Was
I
it
did,
you?
I'll deny it.
Okay.
Was it you?
Actually, yeah, you weren't on the call. It couldn't have been you. Well, but yeah, BC went off great. And they started early. We kind of started that division later on in the process. And they already had their rank time solidified for their upcoming season. So they're like, hey, we got to start on March 22nd. We're like, okay, that's fine. We'll get a rush order on the jerseys and we'll just kind of get stuff going a little bit sooner with them. And so that's why they had I guess the soft launch of the league was BC starting. And they had some great goals. Their highlights are on our YouTube page. And their next weekend is, I think, in 2 weeks. And they're also the first division to finish. They finish, I think, I want to say early July. Don't quote me on that, but it's one of our earlier finishes. But yeah, BC, we're happy to have you. We can't wait to meet whoever wins in New Jersey when you come here for the championships. But yeah, we're in Canada.
Yeah, we're in Canada.
We did it.
First of many, hopefully.
Yes, first of many. If you're in Canada, you want to play in the NBHL, reach out to us because we're working on some things up there. It's been a lot of conversations, and we're excited to get as much Canada incorporated as we can because we think,
A lot of good hockey players out
Yeah,
there.
just bring it all together. Why not?
Yeah. So that was the weekend of the 22nd. We get to the weekend of the 29th, 30th, and we had 3 different regions start. We had Pittsburgh, Jersey, and Washington, D.C. So we'll go region by region, starting in Pittsburgh. Tier 1, if you're watching this at this point, you might have already seen our game of the week. That featured the Northside Militia versus the McKeesport Aces, and it was Militia's first game in Tier 1 since 2021. The first year of the NBHL, they were in Tier 1. They went 2-8, dropped to Tier 2. Then Tier 2, 3 straight years, championship, runner-up, championship. Then they go to the NBHL championships that last year, and they win it all. So Tier 2, we push them up to Tier 1. First game, and they beat the defending champs of Pittsburgh Tier 1. I mean, you can't ask for a better debut. It was a great effort.
We were at the rink, and I was like, at the score, I was like, holy crap, the Militia are winning right now.
And a thriller of a game, too.
Yeah.
Last second goals, like 10 seconds left. Can't ask for more drama than that.
Yeah, if you haven't watched the game of the week yet, it's on our YouTube channel, and you get to see some of the most skilled players in the country on the Aces, and then you see another very skilled team in the Militia that's basically built like linebackers. Like they're it was an amazing game. They scored with 10 seconds left to win it, and it was just a hell of an opener for Militia. Then the other game, so we played at Penn Hills, and we had the Battle of Penn Hills with the Battalion and the Imperium. And another amazing game. Like it was a coin flip for the game of the week we were going to feature, because this game was amazing too. And the Battalion were down 2-1 with like a minute and a half, 2 minutes left. And they scored with like 8-something left, or 2 minutes left. And they scored with like a minute left. Owen Mill scored to win it for them. So they won with like a minute left. So 2 back-to-back thrillers in Tier 1. I mean, adding Militia to the mix of Aces, Battalion, Imperium, Renegades is just going to make that division.
Yeah, I can already feel it's way more competitive. And just like, I mean, the Militia literally haven't lost a game in 22 or 23?
Yeah.
I'll never forget when I saw the Militia at the championships in 23 against the Mutiny, and I was just like, this squad is massive. Like, they are all linebackers. Like, they are going to go deep, and they got bounced, but good to see them up in T1.
Yeah.
And competing in Tier 1 too. There are some Tier 2 teams that'll struggle when they make that first jump up for the first time. I mean, some of these guys played in that first season and they have that Tier 1 experience, but sometimes these Tier 2 teams, they come up and they struggle playing against competition that's more, at their skill level. They're kind of used to being the top dog in Tier 2. So seeing them come up and get their first win, encouraging for parity of that division.
Yeah. Yeah. And then Tier 2. So Tier 1 has 5 teams. Tier 2 has 9. 8 of those teams played, and all 4 were 1-goal games. And I mean, Tier 1 was both 1-goal games. Tier 2 had 4 1-goal games. Like, it's just the most parity you can't really ask for better than that. And Butler Bantams are the top dog now, because they've also been to 3 straight Tier 2 finals, where they lost in the final to Militia in 2022. They won the championship in 23, lost in the finals again in 2024. Then they played them in the semis at the championships of 2024 and lost them at the tournament too. So Militia's up, Bantams are top dog, but they played their, I guess, cross-town rival, the Butler Breeze, and we posted the goal in our play of the week, and their goalie made an unbelievable glove save to win it in overtime for them, and then he paddles the ball out of the rink. It was sick. You should do that, G.
Gianni would have done the same thing, yeah.
I'd swing and miss. I was not good at baseball. That's why I play hockey now. Sorry, Dad.
Yeah. But yeah, that save was nasty.
Yeah, I mean, Pittsburgh Tier 2, it's, they got 9 teams. They're all really good. I think it was Bryce Rierick, I want to say, is the one who made the save. He got a lot of love on that post, as he should have.
Yes. It's a lot of C comments in that post. Yeah.
Yeah, he clearly won the play of the week. But yeah, Tier 2 will get a new champion, and again, we're just gonna wait and see what happens, because the teams look pretty tight. Then Tier 3, we're got 16 teams, and there's 2 conferences, and I don't know most of the players or teams. I mean, some of them we know, like we had the Mon Valley Mallards who won it all last year. They had a rematch versus the Rowan Ragnarok, who came in second place. The Mallards won that 4-1. But right now, it's a gauntlet. Like, it's just crazy. Like 16 teams there. It's our second biggest division this year, and we'll just see how that plays out.
Yeah, I love the idea of 2 conferences. Just champions meeting each other is going to be it's different, new for the league, and obviously in Jersey they're doing something similar, but a little different, I think.
Yeah, ours. We'll get to it when we talk about New Jersey. A little bit different how our conferences work. I know this Pittsburgh division, they're going to have some crossover play within their 2 different conferences. So they will get to see some teams on the other side of the bracket. But, it's cool the first time that we've had in history where the divisions are getting big enough where we have to split into conferences. If it weren't for this, you'd be in the same division in conferences or conference as a team and never play them at all in the regular season or the playoffs. So I think that, splitting it and, defining how they're going to play each other makes things a little bit more straightforward.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And then, so right now they're calling it East and West. We've got the North Hills Reapers in first place in the East and the Cudas first place in the West.
Wow.
So
Wow.
Cudas
Strong
on top.
start.
Yeah, winning everywhere.
Really, just a force right now. But yeah, Pittsburgh, we've still got legends. We've still got women's who have not debuted yet. So we've got, another 8 teams that still have to play. But Pittsburgh, one of our biggest areas in the country, if I'm doing my math right, that is 38 teams that play in that area.
Yep.
So, yeah. Oh, that was good math by you, TJ, to double check me there. That was crazy. But yeah, so moving on to Jersey, we'll start in Tier 1 where Toogs.
What a great day for the Toogs.
It was a great day. Toogs made some new additions and, group chat's been fired up. We were ready to go.
Oh, yeah. The boys are loving it.
Yeah, won 7-2. It was a great win.
Toog?
Okay. The 2 goals you let up.
Yeah. I had to let that second one out just to get the punt out,
And then what did Ty call the game in our chat?
Hawk-Tuga. The Hawk-Tuga series.
Yeah, so I guess we won the Hawk-Tuga series for the year because we don't play the Hawks again, right?
No, unless we see them in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah, yes, playoffs.
Have not met in the playoffs since the EBHL days.
Yes.
And you haven't won a playoff
And
game.
haven't won a playoff game since we beat them in the EBHL days.
Yeah, we haven't. Damn it.
When's your crypto coin drop?
I guess soon.
Yeah.
We got to figure it out, but hopefully the next couple of weeks.
Yeah,
Do not buy it.
if you see NBHL coin on the market, don't do it.
Don't. That means we're in really bad financial trouble over here.
It's a rug pull coming.
But yeah, Toogs win. Night's Watch, they went 1-1. They played the Roulette, the Atlantic City Roulette, our new expansion team. They are one of the crossover teams that have players rostered in Tier 2, playing in Tier 1. They lost, I want to say 5-2 to the Top Guns, and they lost 3-0 to Night's Watch, or was it 2?
I don't think it was a shutout.
But
Was it?
regardless, Roulette looked good. Like they competed, like they were not outmatched by any means. Night's Watch, they're just so deep. They have so much, there's not a weak spot on that roster. So they're just, they wear you down when you play them. And they look good, but they had the championship rematch versus the Caribou. They were up 2-1. Caribou battled back, scored in overtime, or not in overtime, in the third period to win that one 3-2. So they, the Caribou beat them at the NBHL championships in Buffalo too. So the Caribou have the last 2 on the, on the Night's Watch right now. After Night's Watch won it all last year.
Yeah, and going back to the Roulette, they did get shut out.
They did. I know.
Yeah.
I self-checked that too. Apologies. I'll buy you a Blendini, Robbie.
And the wild card for me during that game was Night's Watch Roulette. Mitch Stiles, their coach / manager, was coaching for the Roulette against his Night's Watch team. So I was so confused.
Yeah, I mean,
it's just for the greater good of the game, I guess.
Where's the loyalty, though?
Yeah, where's the loyalty?
Jeez, guys just won a championship and he's off the bench.
It's like the most diehard Night's Watch guy, and he's just coaching against his team.
Yeah, let's get a controversy, bro.
Yes.
Did the team kick him off the bench, or did he choose to leave?
Yeah.
Jeez, either way, it's crazy.
Yes.
And then we haven't talked about the Top Guns enough. They came and played after just winning the freshman tournament in Marlton. So they played a freshman, anyone underwear is U20s essentially. So it's this team is all young kids, and they played a whole tournament. They won at 2:00 was their championship game. They came to NBHL and then they won 5-2, and did not look tired at all.
That's what we were like at that age. We were
Say
playing
probably the only
like
team.
6 different teams in a tournament and playing 20 games and feeling great afterwards. I can play on like 2 teams at most, and I'm dead on Monday.
Yeah, like you just see like the kids running around like after their games. I was like, was I doing that like between like big like semifinal and finals games like at these tournaments? I was like, I don't know.
We're recording this on Wednesday, and I'm still sore from our game on Sunday.
I remember like in Egg Harbor, we would play nationals there. We'd like be like running up the dirt ramps in the skate park, but like it's behind the rink. We'd be doing that, and then we go like back on the rink for like
Just,
our
net a
3
hat
o'clock
trick.
game.
Yeah.
Insane.
So tier 1, 6 of the 8 teams played in Jersey. We've got the Dogs and the Long Island Fury, another new team. Still to debut. That will come later in the month. And then tier 2 had 6 of the 9 teams play. The Space Pirates won, Majestic won, and the Avengers won. Had our new team in tier 2, the Young Guns. They got shut out 3-0 to the Avengers. The Lucky Ducks, they lost, I believe it was 2-1.
Yep.
That team is always on the losing end of 1-goal games, it seems. Last year, I know they had a rough year with that.
Great jerseys, though.
Yeah. Jerseys look very nice. And I mean, Space Pirates doing what they do, winning tight games, battling. They did great. And then Majestic is a totally different looking team this year. They had a big roster turnover, and they look good. They won a close game, but
And some of those guys playing triple headers that day too with the new crossover rules, playing for the roulette. So,
yeah, their goalie Jimmy Burkett played 2 games in tier 1 and 1 game in tier 2, so he had a day. And then tier 3, we had our Eastern Conference go. So, G, do you want to explain how the conferences work?
Yeah, so our conferences are a little bit different in South Jersey. So instead of all of the teams playing every week, we have one conference, which is the Eastern Conference, right? That played this weekend?
Yeah.
So they play every week, weekly style with all the other divisions. And then the Western Conference is our tournament style division. So they're going to play over at Choice Inline Arena. And they play 1 day a month for 3 games at a time. So this was mostly due to like this team preference. If they wanted to have a less commitment of days, they were playing in the tournament style conference and playing once a month. If they wanted to get the vibe of the weekly style and playing with everyone else, they'd play in the East. So it happened to balance out really nicely where we had 9 and 9 in each one. There was one, I think, free agent team that was kind of on the fence. And I said, hey, you're kind of screw up the balance if you play weekly. So like, please play in the tournament style. And they were fine with that. And it also allowed us to accommodate for the Bermuda team that is going to make their debut in June for this. So they're only going to be coming for 1 weekend of regular season games. And then they'll come back for playoffs where they'll play the last 2 regular season games that Friday and play playoffs the following day. So it allowed, because of how their schedule works and how their playoffs have to get done in 1 day, it allowed for that Bermuda team to be able to compete with these Tier 3 West teams.
And I was just going to say, and just clarify for the viewers, who's making the championships from your division?
Yeah, so the winner of each conference will make the NBHL championship. So the winner of the East and the winner of the West, they'll all have their own separate playoffs. The winners make it, and then we would like to do a 3-game series for the champions for, overall winner of South Jersey Tier 3. Both teams will go to the championships, but who doesn't love bragging rights? They want to see who's better out of the conferences. I think the only thing that would stop this from happening is if Team Bermuda ends up winning out of the West, because they're not going to come back for a 3-game series that doesn't impact their, ability to come to the championship. So if any other team wins out of the West, we'll do that super series. If not, then it'll have to be a mystery who's better.
Yeah, we may never know. But yeah, Tier 3, couple team notes here. Redcoats, they came back hot. They lost in overtime to get a spot at the championships last year to the Dinos, who are now playing in Philly. They came out, they went 2-0. They outscored their opponents 12-0. Pretty dominant weekend from them. And then the Marlton Calamari, they dropped from Tier 2. If you are a non-playoff team in Tier 2, we do give you that option. They won their first game 7-2. They had a big pickup, though, in the offseason of Dave Schlater from the San Diego Sauce, moving back to the East Coast. Yeah. Big trade from the Sauce fee. I think it was just future considerations. They didn't really get a lot in the deal.
I heard maybe some vending machine restocks were included in that too.
Well,
we'll have to consult the agents, find out.
Yeah, we'll have to see. But yeah, so we're still waiting for the West Side to debut, including Ties, Cyclones.
Yeah, it was funny. I got a text like when we announced Bermuda, they were like, dude, you guys got a division in the Bahamas? I was like, I didn't know. But imagine that.
Maybe next year.
There is a rink in the Bahamas. I remember because we had gone on vacation there, and we, on the way, passed like a, not in very great shape, but a hockey rink. We're like, oh, they got ball hockey here.
I don't even remember.
You're in the Bahamas, you play ball hockey. Send us a DM.
Yeah. It's like, no, it's Bermuda. But
everyone watching this, tag everyone you know that lives in the Bahamas so they can watch this. We need them to see this. And then lastly, but certainly not least, we had the first ever games in the NBHL Legends division, which, the Legends division, we had a lot of people reaching out saying, hey, let's get a 45 plus. Let's get an older division kind of going here. And 45 was the number we settled on. And we got 4 divisions. We've got Jersey, Pitt, Buffalo, and Long Island. And Jersey started up.
Yep.
Went really well. I mean, they played on the middle rink. It's a little bit smaller. They weren't crazy about the red line icing. We got to talk about that and see what we're thinking there. But in general, it went, really well. And the feedback was great. So a very strong start for our Legends division.
Yeah, no, it's opening day. We're running around all over the place, so we don't get to see a ton of hockey. But from what I saw off that rink, it was, really good competitive hockey. Yeah, the players seemed to really enjoy it. So
some of the guys, the way they were moving, I was just like blown away. Like, I don't know. I don't watch much 45 plus hockey, but like, I was like, this is great. Like, I'm happy for them and excited for them to, be a part of the NBHL.
They can play.
Yeah.
There's one goal that we'll probably have to post at some point. If you're listening, you've probably seen it already, but it's like a full rink lob to a guy who sprints down and gets it and goes like forehand, backhand shelf on the goalie. Like, oh my God, like that was sick. So yeah, Legend is cool. We've got Pittsburgh still. They're starting soon. Long Island will be the last one to get going, but yeah, we've got the Old Fashions, Immortals, and Gray Knights all won that opening weekend. So excited for Legends. Nice new little venture for us. Hopefully we keep it growing. And, everyone says we got 6 teams in Jersey right now, and they're like, we could probably get 8 to 10. So we'll see how that develops. But it was fun to have. It was fun to have that middle rink going and get all 3 rinks going in Jersey. Yeah. And then the other region that got going was Washington, D.C., which had a complete revamp of how that tier has gone from how it was the past 4 seasons of the NBHL. So DC's been there since day one. They've always had legacy teams that have been playing in DC street hockey for some of them decades. Like they've been around for a really long time. And, these players are very loyal to these teams. They don't want to play on other teams. So things with like our cap that forced people to move around and stuff, they were not like as open to that. So we came up with an idea to fix that and also, just create some parity and kind of start over a little bit. So we had all the teams sign up and register in a pool, and we had a draft. And we went from 5 teams down to 4. But got new teams, new logos, and it went really well. The feedback from the group chat after I texted them how it went, they said everyone had fun, which
we love to hear it.
We love fun. That's a big part of this league. And yeah, they changed it up, and it seems to have gone smooth so far. Knock on wood. I don't see why it wouldn't, but so it's the Naptown Lightning, which Naptown, just amazing place. It replaces the Battletown Gladiators. Which was
I will mourn the loss of the Battletown Gladiators. It was a great name.
It was a great name.
Yeah, their logo didn't match the name. If they had a sick logo, they would have been a March Madness Final Four competitor every single year. But Naptown Lightning, we got the Maryland Clippers, the Delray Nordiques, and the DC Hellhounds. So,
love it.
Yeah. New names,
blood.
New logos. I think the Lightning went the furthest in March Madness, but they also are in first place after the weekend. They went 2-0. Outscored opponents 8-4. They look pretty good. And then we had the game of the weekend there was the Nordiques versus the Hellhounds, who are the bottom 2 teams. They went to a shootout. The teams collectively went 5 of 6 in the shootout, and the Nordiques went 3 for 3. We did a graphic on it. If you haven't seen it, go back to our social media. It was from Wednesday, and it just shows all 3 of their goals, and they're all like they're snipes, and they like nice moves. Like it was really, really nice. But yeah, a new era in DC, but an exciting one. And it'll be interesting to see what happens in the offseason with the teams and how it kind of shapes up.
Yeah.
But right now, just starting off and enjoying the moment of how it is. So went super well.
That's all our divisions.
Yeah, that's
the
all
week.
that started. That's all that started. So this will probably come out, if things go perfectly, this will come out on Monday. And if you're listening to this, that means we've also had 3 other regions begin, but we don't know what happened. So Texas, hybrid tier 2-3, California, hybrid tier 2-3, and New Jersey women's.
Oh.
All started, I guess, the weekend that has now passed us.
Yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday.
Yesterday, but also in 3 days.
Yeah, yeah. Or it depends on what day you're listening to this. At some point prior to you listening to this, they have played.
It hasn't happened, but they just wrapped up.
Yeah. Yes.
They might have played.
Or maybe not.
Yeah.
What if we could have a rain out?
Yeah, we could
Even
have
though they're
rain.
indoors.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to check the weather report.
I have had games that I've played in the leagues where they have gotten rained out for indoors. It's happened to me.
It's insane.
Well,
Roofs leak.
Yeah, roofs leak.
let's just hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah, knock on wood.
Yeah.
Do we want to throw some predictions out for the weekend for California, Texas?
Or are we going to talk about what happened?
We're gonna predict what just happened.
All right, we're going to pre-predict what happened. So we don't know. All right, let's pull up the schedule. here.
I'm gonna go. I don't even know what the schedule is. My prediction is gonna be there will be a hybrid upset.
A hybrid upset.
One of the lower tier teams will upset one of the upper tier teams. I don't know who or where, but
I think the Sauce come out with like a couple wins because they just got smashed in March Madness.
they're gonna get fired up.
Yes.
Yeah, they're probably furious right now. I cannot imagine how mad they are. I mean, so the Texas and California have not been hybrids before. That changed this year. We moved the Dallas-Fort Worth Marksmen and the Red River Rougarou to tier 2 in Texas. And now we have 5 teams in tier 3 there, which is the most we've had. And I'm not going to get too into it, but just explaining the whole hybrid thing because you guys will get your episode. We will talk in depth about what happened, or even though we know what happened.
Yeah.
Because it did just happen.
Yeah, it already happened.
The game's already happened. So and then California, same thing. We've got the Sauce and we've got the Bay, or they're going by San Francisco Bash this year, our tier 2. Everyone else is tier 3. And we've got some games crossing over with, team qualifying. And actually, at one point in the season, the Marksmen will fly to California and play the California team.
That's
in some
sick.
crossover games.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Marksmen, we appreciate you doing that because that's going to be just, I can't wait to
awesome.
watch
Yeah,
and see what
yeah.
happens.
Not a bad place to fly out to if you're playing hockey. Heading to California. I really had to twist their arm on that one, huh?
No. Yeah, it wasn't tough. I mean, they went to Colorado last year.
Yeah,
so
it's pretty cool.
They've had some good ball hockey vacations in the past year. And then also is the Jersey women's tier, continuing with 6 teams with 2 new ones. The Paoli Penguinas, who, I mean, we thought they were going to make a March Madness.
Yeah, I
run.
thought they were going deep.
I thought they were going a little bit deeper than that, but nonetheless, pretty early exit. And then the Tooleytown Looney Goons. The Looney Goons here. So 6 teams in women's, and we've got Maria Gibson, our women's tier commissioner, also captain or GMing the Tooleytown Looney Goons, not playing. So conflict of interest, Maria? I don't know. I guess we'll see. But, Alexis Tarantino running that division, she does an amazing job, and they play a choice. They play the same rank that our South Jersey East Tier 3 plays at.
West.
Oh, West. Oh, my God. We got to delete that, guys. But, yeah, they play 2 games each this weekend, so we'll be fun. We'll be fun to get some women's games going. And can we call that a preview? What do we call that?
What? The trailer?
I think we're really, really beating this joke into the ground here. We got to.
Oh.
It's a post view. That was our
Recap.
a
Recap. Yeah.
Wow.
You just listened to the pre-cap.
Wow, that was our pre-cap. Congrats to the
Winners of the game.
The winners.
And sorry to the losers of the game.
Yeah. And I guess last thing here is the NBHL documentary. So we have, when we were in Buffalo for the NBHL championships, we had a documentary crew. Well, we got to start that over because I need to remember the name of the documentary.
Legacy House.
Legacy House, yes. Okay.
Also, are we going to refer to it as a mini doc here?
It doesn't matter. Yeah,
We should definitely reference the length of it.
Okay.
And lastly is the NBHL documentary. So when we were at Buffalo last year for the NBHL championships, we'd be in touch with Legacy House Studios. They're a production company based out of Buffalo. Nick, Adam, those two guys run that place, and we had a lot of conversations leading up to we wanted to kind of tell the story of the NBHL and how we got to where we are now. And also to share some stories of some players. We had a few players that we featured who say how they got into ball hockey and things like that. And it's a mini documentary. It's not full length. It's 20 minutes, but it kind of tells our story from the beginning. It shows some clips from, the tournaments and some games and tells some stories of some players. And it's just, they did an amazing job capturing like the essence of the NBHL and talking about what we're doing, where we're growing, what we're trying to accomplish. And you're in this league, you're listening to this, I'm assuming you're a pretty big diehard for the sport of ball hockey. It's definitely worth the watch, worth a share. Let's get some eyes on this thing and try to get, more eyes on our league and help it grow through this. But yeah, Legacy House, I can't speak highly enough about. I mean, what was your expectation getting the first cut of that?
I really didn't know what to expect, but
just seeing the league in that light was, pretty cool because we haven't really had something done to that degree, and I was long overdue telling the story and just kind of featuring players and why people love the sport and all that.
Yeah, a lot of talk about like the community and just what brings everybody back to this year after year and why we keep doing it, because it's just an amazing group of people. And we thank everybody in this community for being a part of this league because we're not here without it. The documentary doesn't exist without it. None of this is here without how much this has been embraced. So it's appreciated. We hope we capture the story well. I'm sure you might learn a couple things about the history and things like that, but tune in. We're excited. We're really excited for it.
Yes.
But,
and it's going to be debuting on our newer YouTube channel. Some of you may be already subscribed to the original YouTube channel that we had that is just like for game footage. And we've opened up this new YouTube channel for richer and more, cooler content like this.
Yes.
So make sure if you don't already give it a follow, subscribe, tune in. It's going to be really cool.
But I think that wraps it up.
All right. You know where to find us: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube, Commish Chat. Also, these episodes are going on the new YouTube channel that Gianni just mentioned. So that's where these episodes will be. And thank you.
Yep. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks for tuning in.